What have you, Alyssa, I'll ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What have you found since being a little bit more aware of your consistency with your exercise and staying on track with, keeping your steps up and nutrition? What have you found to be beneficial for you? And have you noticed any difference in how you feel?
Yeah, I think like actively trying to get my steps up and stuff and going for walks, just being outside
Yeah,
has been good. Yeah, just like some time to think and stuff as well, which was nice.
awesome.
Um, and I think definitely like forcing myself to get like enough water in,
Mm.
big difference.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and interesting you bring that up because a lot of people find the drinking the water part actually really hard. What did you find difficult about the water? Is it that you just don't drink enough on a day-to-day basis, or what was it for you?
Yeah. I think beforehand, yeah, I just didn't drink enough. Like I probably had like one bottle, so like maybe a liter a day.
Okay,
Actually
awesome.
like water. So it's like, yeah, I just wasn't really thinking about it, I guess.
So a huge change then. Did you manage to hit your 2.7, 2.8 liters a day each day?
Yeah, I think every day except like yesterday actually.
Awesome. And have you
Yeah.
noticed a difference in your energy levels or anything to do with your recovery or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think if I do a 6 o'clock class, like I have more energy if I've like managed to get my water in.
Awesome.
Yeah, whereas like beforehand, if I went to like an evening class and I hadn't drank much, I'd be so tired.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I can understand why you would be because your body was lacking in hydration.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. Anything else you've noticed that may have changed slightly that you've started implementing over the last 2 weeks that you weren't doing beforehand that's made a difference for you?
I mean the proteins made a big difference as well. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I think definitely like I've just been eating less like processed stuff, I guess, just naturally through like meal prepping and stuff. So I think I just feel a lot better.
Awesome.
Uh,
Yay. And you need
yeah.
that with all your studies that you're doing and everything at the moment too, and all the exercise that you do. And I notice you're real consistent with your exercise, which is great. So in order to perform at your best, which you have been in the last 2 weeks, doing some PBs with your deadlifts and things like that, having that good nutrition to support that is so, so crucial. Now I know, Alyssa, you have a little bit of issues with your lower back. That's
Yeah.
been a lot better in the last 2 weeks also.
Oh yeah, I haven't had any issues, which is like actually unusual.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good.
Do you feel as though, focusing more on your water intake, increasing your protein, and just moving your body more in general by getting out and doing more steps has helped somewhat?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Awesome.
and then
Yeah.
like just adding in some more stretching and stuff has been good as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you manage to do the stretch video at all?
Yeah, I did. I did it last week, and then I'm gonna do it later as well.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, it's old school video, but it definitely serves a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what would you say your key takeaway has been from the last 2 weeks, just by focusing more on those things that you've been doing?
Um, I think before like I did it, I was kind of worried that I wouldn't be able to like achieve it, or it would be really hard to sustain like just being busy with uni and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is just that yeah, like I've gotten used to it and I can manage it. So,
Awesome.
and that yeah, it's actually helpful. So
And you actually can do it no matter how busy
yeah,
you are, you found a way to do it, right? Um,
yeah.
how many hours a week do you spend doing all your uni work?
Um, well, I'm there like 4 days a week. I'm there like it's like full time, and then
Yeah,
I
so
work well
40
on the
hours
side.
a week at uni and then what? Up and 10 to 20 hours working?
Yeah, like 14 hours working.
Right. So nearly 60 hours of work, study, and everything else that you need to do in order to do what you do on a weekly basis. And you've managed to hit nearly 10,000 steps every day. You've managed to prioritize your nutrition, which has been fantastic. You've managed to prioritize more water, and you've also managed to hit around 4 workouts a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fabulous. So you've just proved to yourself that no matter how busy you are, you can still make time to prioritize your health, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And what's the key thing you're going to make sure you keep doing from this moment onward?
Protein and water.
Awesome. So
And
everything you've been doing in the last 2 weeks, and you've been proving to yourself that you can make work, take that with you now and keep going with it. Because it's going, it's not the 2 weeks has made huge changes for you in terms of energy, not feeling any pain in your lower back. But what you want to see is what will happen if you keep going like this for like the next few months, even till the end of the year, and then some more. So that's awesome. You should be proud of yourself that you've managed to make it work. No matter how busy you've been, you have prioritized your health, which is fantastic. Yay, awesome.
Yay, thank you. And thank you for your help.
No worries. I'm happy to help. It's really cool seeing you do your 50-kilo deadlift, which is huge for you. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to add to that?
Not really. No, I think that's pretty much it.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for inputting, Alyssa.
Thanks.
Alexandra, did you want to add anything into that? Anything you want to say about your 2-week journey so far?
I just probably want to say that I know I've had a real can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, we can hear you.
Oh yeah, cool. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a great last 2 weeks. I feel like it's been a good little like re-kick start. I don't know, I feel like I get in like these little things where I'm just doing the same thing and I kind of get bored of it. So I think it's actually been quite good in the last couple of weeks. Well, for Mother's Day, my husband got me some personal training sessions. So I've kind of I think using what you've given us and then kind of had that re-kickstart with my workouts as well. The combination of those together has been great. But the thing that I've found that I've focused on mostly over these past 2 weeks is my protein intake. I think I've been like working out for a long time now, and that's something that I haven't really ever focused on. Like I've often calorie counted, but never really focused on the protein, and I feel like that's been my main focus this time. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like I feel way different. I'm even noticing I'm actually like starting to slowly increase my weights, which I haven't done for ages.
Awesome.
And I feel fuller all the time. It's weird. I was saying to my workmate the other day, I'm not having like any cravings. It's real weird. Like I have a real sweet tooth, and I don't know, I've been having like protein pancakes and stuff for breakfast, and that keeps me full, and I'm feeling really satisfied. I think that's probably the right word. And so I think my thing is the protein, but I'm still kind of trying to find ways to still increase it. I'm only kind of just hitting that 150 most days.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was talking to the PT at the gym as well, and he was saying you could even be going a little bit higher than that, like closer to the 200. And I'm like, crikey, how am I supposed to fit more protein? And I'm having like chicken, protein powder, eggs. And I'm like, oh, crikey. So I think trying to focus, I've been focusing every meal and trying to have my snacks high protein as well. And I know I'm kind of enjoying it. It's like a new little bit of a challenge trying to find what foods are high in protein, and then I find that the rest of the nutrition is way easier as well. Like when you focus on the protein, I feel like I'm eating healthier just from doing that.
Absolutely.
Like,
When you focus on the protein, then your carbohydrates and fats naturally fall into place. Once you nail your protein and you start to understand, how much you need, and you can become more intuitive with that, and then you want to take your nutrition even further, that's when you can start focusing a little bit more on your carbohydrate and fat intake as well.
Right.
Protein is the hardest macronutrient to master. So the fact that you're actually hitting 150 a day is fantastic, because generally when people first start focusing on their protein, they find it really hard to hit 100. So I think what you need to do is get into this consistency with 150 before you worry about increasing it any higher.
Okay.
Just focus on being consistent with where you're at, because right now it's proving to me and to yourself that this is working for you right now. Be consistent with that for a while before you make it harder for yourself again, just so that you're not like, oh, this is too much. You know what I mean? You've just got to slowly build your way up to there. And also with in regards to protein, the way we work out how much protein you need is per kilogram of body weight is how we work out your protein. Or there's another equation that we do, which is we do a special equation with your lean body mass. So try not to just go off rough numbers. You want to make sure you're actually calculating it in regards to what you need for your specific needs.
Okay.
Your
Yeah.
body weight and your lean body mass. So stick with 150 for now, maintain that. And then once you feel like, yep, I'm making some progress with my gains in the gym, maybe
Yeah.
I should do a check-in, maybe weigh in, see where I'm at, and figure out how much protein I need, depending on where your weight's at. Because sometimes
Okay, cool.
weight goes up. Remember, it's not just, oh no, I've put on weight. It could be a lot of things. It could be that you've
Yeah.
got muscle. It could be you've got more glycogen stores, which you have from having more carbohydrate. You also have that from when after doing a workout, your muscles will cause you to basically weigh more on the scale. So checking in with your weight is not just about seeing weight loss. It's actually saying, well, what's happening with my weight? Is it going up and I'm training more and I'm maintaining this great nutrition? If it's going up, it could be that you're actually gaining muscle.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's good to check in with those things. I think that's so cool that you've figured out protein is the thing that
Yeah.
you needed to focus on most. And my encouragement to you is to make sure you keep focusing on your protein,
Okay, cool.
you know, moving forward. Like don't stop the good consistency train that you're kind of on now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny because I've always I don't know, I've kind of gone on and off counting my calories for years. I have found that is what works for me when I can be bothered, because it is it does take time and you have to be willing to do it. But it's interesting. I've always been like real calorie focused, but this time I'm like, oh, does that have protein in it? No, it doesn't. Nope, I'm not having that.
It's actually good rather than just focusing on calories, because sometimes we can fill our calories up with foods that don't even keep us satisfied and full.
Yeah.
And this is where people tend to constantly go over their calories because they're only focusing on how many calories they're eating in a day. Now you could fill your calories up with McDonald's. You could fill your calories up with ice pops. You could fill your calories up with sugary snacks, and you're not going to feel satisfied because your body's not actually had the nutrients that it needs to go about your day and thrive. Now I'm not saying
that's when you get those people that then you binge because you're like, I'm so freaking hungry and this is ridiculous, and then you're like, the calories don't work, like calorie counting doesn't work.
It's not that calories don't work, it's that we want to be filling our calories up with the foods that are actually going to give our body the nutrients that it needs. And that's why I love the 80-20 approach, because if you can fill your calories with 80% of wholesome foods, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, all from wholesome sources, then you've got that 20% of kind of whatever you want. And that's when you can find the room for, a little bit of chocolate here or cake or something that you don't have to have a treat if you don't want to, but you know that you've got that allowance there for it. But where we can kind of go wrong with our nutrition is when our calories are just, it's all treat food. Do you know what I mean?
It's like you're I don't know, I always look at them as like empty calories. Like
they are.
I don't know, people are like, do you want a drink of this? And I'm like, no, I don't, because I want to save my calories for something that I can actually eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like you're right, like the empty calories. Now if you're someone, there's people out there and everyone's different, because all our bodies are different. Some people can literally just eat 2 meals a day and they don't even think about food. There's people out there that are like that. But the majority of people that really have to focus on their calories love food and think about it a lot. So we have to make sure that we are fulfilling our body's needs by giving it protein, fats, and carbohydrates, giving it enough of that so that we don't find ourselves binge eating on the yummy stuff, the treats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You probably won't feel like you need to either, because you're full and satisfied, and you're not going to have cravings because your body's got what it needs. Usually when we have cravings, it's because there's something else underlying, you're lacking in some form of nutrients, or there's something else that your body's not getting enough of. So we have these cravings. And so it's good that your awareness has been brought to how important the protein is for you. Not only is it good for you staying full and staying on track with your nutrition, but it's also going to help you in the gym with your training, and you're going to get better results with your training as well, because you're giving your body the nutrition it needs to repair the muscles, repair the tissues, so you can come back stronger and go harder in your next session. And ultimately, to get great results from your training sessions, you have to be pushing yourself and you have to actually be training, you know what I mean? And the only way you're going to do that well is by giving your body good fuel to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do a good session if you've had 1,200 calories and not enough protein, you know?
Yeah,
So
totally.
it makes a huge difference to your overall energy output. And when you've got more energy to be able to train harder, you're going to get better results because your consistency is going to be a lot better as well, because you've got more energy from the fuel that you're giving your body, which is really important. So that's really awesome. I love that. That's so cool. Protein is definitely the hardest macronutrient. So the fact, like I said, the fact that you're getting 150 a day, that is fantastic. Do you mind telling us a day in your plate at the moment, what that's kind of looking like for you to be able to hit that 150 grams?
Yeah, sure. So for breakfast, at the moment I've been having either like a protein smoothie, which will have like I've actually finally found a protein powder that doesn't hurt my stomach, which is great because I've had issues with that for a very long time. So I've been having the Nothing Naughty lean bean protein.
Nice.
Yeah, so I just have that, and then I have it with like half a banana, some plain Greek yogurt,
nice,
frozen zucchini, and then berries or whatever, and then just water as the liquid.
Nice.
Or I make pretty much the same thing but into protein pancakes.
Yeah.
So it depends how I'm feeling with what I have for breakfast. I have either one of those, and then for morning tea I'll have generally like tuna on crackers or something like that. And then for lunch I've been having like a chicken and rice or chicken and salad or a wrap or something like that. And then in the afternoon I'll have like a piece of fruit and maybe a protein bar.
Yep.
And then for dinner I've been just trying to focus it around some kind of meat, some potato and vegetables or something like that. And then for my I like to have something in the evening as my dessert. So I like those little like nom mochi bites. And they're generally like 60 calories, and I'm like, that's my my little treat to end the day. So that's kind of I think that's roughly what I'm having at the moment from.
And that's a decent amount of food too, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's what I've always eaten, probably a little bit less calories. So I'm finding, and then I'm finding trying to hit my protein, I am using them all, like which is good. So I'm feeling full and satisfied, and it's obviously I'm giving my body what it needs.
Absolutely.
And then I saw you post the other day something about focusing your meals around protein, and we've gone out a couple of nights for dinner, and I'm like, it's hard because you're like, what do I eat when I go out? And I'm like, as long as if you focus it around protein, like I'm like, stay away from the pasta and things like that. So when I went out, I just chose the lamb meal. So it was like lamb, potato, and vegetables. And I'm like, obviously they're going to use oils and things like that I wouldn't normally use, but as long as that's your 20% that that you can't track. So
exactly. And look, there's going to be times where you do go out for dinner, and that's absolutely fine. And look, I generally, if I go out for dinner, I'll probably have like steak and veggies, or I'll have like the chicken or something. But every now and again, I do maybe feel like I might, I might have a pizza, or I might have a pasta, and that's also okay. It's just like you don't always feel like that type of food, and that's fine. And going out a lot,
and you still have to live like
you do,
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to track everything, but there's really good tools around going out, and that's like, all right, from going out tonight for dinner, then lunch is going to be basic and breakfast is going to be basic, because I want to have a delicious night out, and I also want to have dessert. Or if you've got 3 events on, then 2 of those events you need to be like, right, I'm going to be picky with, having a protein and veggie styled meal. And then the 3rd event out will be the pasta and the pizza, so like finding that balance between socializing and going out as well. So, if you do have a really eventful week, and sometimes that can happen, birthdays, or if it's work or whatever it is, it's really important to find that balance when you go out as well.
You can't control everything.
No, you can't. But there are certain things that we can control if we just kind of think about it a little bit first, and just plan ahead is always going to be the ultimate tool to help you get through any of that. That's
cool.
I'm really happy for you. Is there anything else you've noticed in terms of energy, in terms of better sleep? Is there anything else that you've noticed since you've been really focusing on all these key elements in the last 2 weeks?
I've definitely found I've had more energy and more energy like at the gym and stuff too, which obviously comes from that higher protein
Yeah. Fueling your
diet,
body.
which is good. Yeah, and yeah, I've been focusing on drinking my water. I'm usually pretty good at drinking lots of water, but obviously when you focus on it more, you actually take notice of how much you are drinking. So
Yes.
yeah, no, I found everything pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm feeling
Awesome.
really good.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you've, received a lot of value and you've managed to really just go for it and make the
Yeah.
most of just getting yourself into a good consistency with your nutrition and your training as well. It's all kind of tied in well for you having those PT sessions available for you as
Yeah,
well.
definitely. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
good timing. So yeah, thank you so much for all your help and support. It's been great. You're very knowledgeable and I really appreciate
Thank you. I hope so.
it.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Now Fran was in the Zoom. I'm just gonna quickly check my message to see if she's had any issues with her internet and I'll just send her a quick message because she usually has some good questions to ask as well. Okay. Okay, I had someone ask me a question, which we'll talk about now, and I'm going to ask both you, Alyssa and Alexandra, to maybe put some input in as well, seeming you've both managed to just do so well with getting yourself on track. So the question was, I'm finding it really hard to prioritize everything. Life's so busy and my time management skills aren't so great. What can I do? So I'm going to ask you to both to answer this question as well, and then I'll give my input. So Alyssa, did you maybe want to put an idea in there as to how this person can get a bit better with their time management and what they can do to help them with that?
Yeah, I think meal prep was like so key for me.
Yes.
Like that helped majorly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Meal prep is a lifesaver.
Yeah. Like 1,000%.
Yeah. Did you meal prep your whole meal or did you meal prep like, some chicken and some salad and some bits and pieces to make food, or did you meal prep all your meals? How do you like to do your meal prep?
So the first week I meal prepped like I meal prepped my whole breakfast, whole lunch, whole dinner.
Yeah.
And then I found that like this week I did a bit differently. I just meal prepped like my whole breakfast. Like I do overnight oats pretty much every
Nice.
morning because they're just great.
Yeah, easy.
And then I would meal prep the whole lunch, and then I kind of kept dinner open so that otherwise I wasn't getting too bored or anything.
Awesome. Perfect.
But yeah, it made it so easy. And then I just got like I would go and get like a certain amount of like yogurts and stuff like that. So everything was all like set up. Like I would make like some jelly, like sugar-free jelly or something as well.
Yeah. Nice.
It's just made it really easy.
Perfect. Easy to stay on track when you prep, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think
If you're
making
exhausted and you've got stuff in the fridge, you're like, I'm so tired. Oh, thank God, I've got something in the fridge I can eat, and then you're not going to go the drive-through on the way home, or going into the cupboard and just snacking on all the snacks, and then you can actually get a substantial meal and you feel so good for it.
Yeah. And I think like when I meal prepped like dinners last week, it was really nice on the nights that I went to the gym because I'd just get home, like I wouldn't have to make dinner because it was done. So we're starving like as soon as you get back as well.
Absolutely, especially when you're lifting heavy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. What about you, Alexandra?
Yeah, definitely meal prepping if that's what works for you. I get really every time I meal prep I get to like the third meal and I'm like, oh, I'm so over this. But but I found last week I just did a whole lot of shredded chicken.
Yeah.
And then so I had like chicken and rice, then chicken and salad, and then chicken wraps, like I could change up what I was eating. So it wasn't always the same thing. So that's helpful. Even like with snacks and stuff, like if you buy, I don't know, a bag of popcorn or whatever, when you buy it, then separating it out into the portions so it's already there to grab and go. And I
Exactly.
find as well, like in the mornings when I get up, I make my breakfast and I get out like what I'm having for my lunch. I get out what's going to be my first snack, what's going to be my last snack. So throughout the day, I've already entered everything into my phone. Like I've counted it all for the day, so I already know how much I'm having and where I can add in more. But it is hard. Like I don't know, focusing on things like this is never going to be easy. You do have to put time and energy into it, which can be exhausting. I don't know. I was talking to my husband the other day, and I often have friends say to me, like, oh, don't you just after work want to go home and chill out? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but I also want to go to the gym. Like I don't know. It's like my me time as well. Like
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting when you're in the right mindset, it's so much easier.
It
But
is.
yeah, it is hard, and you just have to find, yeah, what works for you. I'm super lucky that I've got support at home to help with dinners and things like that, which does make it easier. But yeah, it is hard. You just have to find what works for you, and if meal prepping's that, then that does help with your time. And I don't know, having things easy, like we've found for dinners, because my husband likes to go to the gym as well. So, I go to the gym straight after work, then I get home and he started cooking dinner, then he goes to the gym, and then we have to bath and dinner the child, and it is busy. But we've found getting things that are easier for dinner. So we've got like steak, and then we buy these like a box of these potato gratin things, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just
Make
like
it easy.
for some nights it's just you need to have some thrown together dinners, and yeah, we have
Oh,
that, some broccoli and a piece of steak, and it's done in 10
easy.
minutes. And yeah, you have to have some things like that. So I think don't be afraid to have some simple meals. Like simple is great. It doesn't have to be like making this big fancy, I don't know, meal with all these different components. It
Yes.
can be as easy as a piece of steak and some salad, or like I don't know, don't overcomplicate it, because we do sometimes. I think as well, you think, oh, I need to make my own muesli bars, and I need to make this, and I need to make that, and you actually don't.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that you've brought that up, because simple is genius when it comes to nutrition. It does not
Yeah.
need to be fancy. And did you know your body actually quite likes repetition when it comes to food, just like it likes repetition when it comes to exercise? So
Yeah, right.
if you had steak, potatoes, and broccoli 2 nights in a row, that's not a crime. If anything, you're more likely to stay on track, feel full and satisfied for having 2 meals like that in a row, because it's going to be decent, rather than going, oh, we had steak last night, let's just have toast tonight because we can't be bothered thinking of what to make. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
totally.
So simple is genius. It is good to just keep it simple. You could do vegetables with salmon, vegetables with chicken, vegetables.
Yeah, totally.
You could swap the protein out if you wanted, but if you're busy and you're on the go, you've got to keep it simple. Otherwise, you find it really hard to stay on track. So I think it's awesome that you brought that up, because it is 100% what I live by. It's simple.
Yeah, and if you're having eggs on toast for dinner, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Exactly. Like dinner doesn't need to be this big, like lamb shank roast every single night. Like I think so we're very in our culture, we're very backwards in a sense. Like dinner is the main event of everyone's kind of day. We're at by dinner time, everyone's got decision fatigue from a busy day. Everyone's kind of tired, winding down. You just need something basic. If anything, lunch should be the bigger meal. Lunch or breakfast, because you're more active throughout the day, unless you're a night shift worker. And that's kind of when you need more energy. You need more energy for your brain, for your thinking, for everything, getting through your afternoon, getting through your day. But I think it's more of a cultural thing as to why we get so wound up and caught up over dinner. And it really doesn't need to be as complicated as we have made it. And then there's also these great services out there like Fresh Start, My Food Bag, HelloFresh, all of those ones. Now they're great, but they also can sometimes be quite complicated, and they kind of make it complicated for meals as well. I also think they're quite expensive.
They are, definitely.
You can actually make meals just as healthy and even more cheaper and more affordable just by keeping it simple at dinner time. and pre-prepping ahead of time for lunches. What I really love about meal prep is like, for example, today in the air fryer, I did a whole lot of chicken breast with Cajun seasoning, shredded that up, put it in the fridge in one container. The next container was filled with chopped kale, chopped cabbage, grated carrot, and some spinach. Mix that all together. Then we've got wraps, wholemeal bread, and then bowls for salads. And so there'll be a combination for lunches for the next 3 days will be wraps, sandwiches, or salads. So you've got those the luxury of having 3 different options using those ingredients. And if you made a salad, you could have, you know, a little bit of dressing or something on top. Or if you made a wrap, you could add some hummus to that. If you made a sandwich, you could also add some hummus to that. I only say hummus because I really do not like sauces. I'm a weirdo. I don't like sauce. So I use hummus for everything instead. But you could add like a little bit of mayo or something like that if that's what you like. So it's just about prepping for what suits your lifestyle. So you might be like Alyssa, who likes to make some meals. You might be like Alexandra, who likes to prep bits and pieces. Whatever works for you, you do that and then try and make it work as best you can. I also like to ask this question of a lot of people, which can be quite confronting, and that is to go onto your phone and look at your screen time hours. Now, the reason I ask this question is because sometimes we spend a lot more time on our phones and on you know, watching Netflix and things like that than we probably should. And when we look at these times, they can be quite confronting because we realize we've been spending 4 hours. I've even had some people I've known, friends as well, that have been at the 6-hour mark. So if you look at that and your screen time per day is really high, that's time you're taking out of your workout time, meal prep time, your me time, your self-care time, your journaling time, all these things that you really want to do to help build this healthier life and build healthier habits. But your screen time is too high, and that's why you've got no time. Because I'm a huge believer in we've always got the time, we just have to prioritize it, and we just have to make it work. So my challenge for everyone is to go and look at your screen time on your phones and maybe do a little bit of a self-analysis and go, right, am I spending too much time on my phone? Do I need to spend less time on my phone so that I can make more time for making my meals ahead of time, going to the gym like I told myself I was going to? It's not that you're not motivated either. Like, motivation is a byproduct of action. So the more you do something, the more motivated you become. So, you know, after you do a workout, you get that dopamine hit, like, yeah, this was awesome. I feel so good. I'm ready to take on the world. I'm going to climb a mountain. Like, you just feel so good. That dopamine hit, that there is you, that's creating motivation. That's what makes you feel motivated. No one well, some people do, but majority of people are not going to wake up in the morning and be super motivated to exercise unless there's some kind of incentive like there. You have to really push yourself to get up and do it. You get the motivation feeling after the workout. What gets you to the workout, what gets you to making that meal, what gets you to waking up earlier to make breakfast is discipline. So we have to push ourselves sometimes to make sure that we are doing the things that we want to do to help us achieve our health and fitness goals. We just have to prioritize the stuff that is going to get us there. And then we have to maintain prioritizing that stuff, because ultimately we do all of this to help make a lifestyle change so that we can live our healthiest lives forever. We don't want to just do this for a short period of time. We don't want to just do this for 2 weeks. We want to be doing this for the rest of our lives so that we live longer. We feel amazing at 70. We can still climb hills and go on hikes at 75, and we're traveling the world at 80. This is the reason why I got to get up every day and I exercise and I eat healthy, is because I want to live the rest of my life pain-free, mobile, flexible, strong. And I want to do that. I want to live my best life every single day. And the only way you're going to do that is if you're prioritizing your health. So we want to do all of these things that we're doing now and prioritizing now forever. So it might feel like a little bit of a chore now, but you have to look at the bigger picture. And I have these clients and they're in their 70s, and I always use them as an example because they are just weapons. They get into these sessions, they do 50-kilo deadlifts. The other day I had one of them do a 40-kilo bench press, and they just prioritize their health to the point that it makes me so excited every time I see them. And then they go on trips together. They're traveling. They're going on hikes. They're going on hikes and staying in huts, and then they're in their 70s. And that's because they have prioritized their health, and they have always prioritized their health. They walk together, they socialize together, they train hard, they lift heavy weights, they eat healthy, they look after themselves, they surround themselves by family. And just by being around these people and seeing that is proof that why we need to prioritize all of this stuff forever. Because if we want to live our best lives, that's exactly what we have to do. So I hope everyone has managed to take some stuff away from doing this 2-week challenge, and you've learned some stuff about yourself. You've learned some stuff about nutrition. You've learned some stuff about fitness and training, and how important consistency is, and how important momentum is, and how important discipline is, and how important it is to keep showing up for yourself in some way for your health, no matter what. Now, look, not every day is going to be perfect, and that's okay. The key is to not let yourself fall off the wagon if you've had one bad day. One bad day is one bad day. It doesn't determine your whole entire progress. It doesn't determine your whole entire, results at the end of the day. What you need to continue to do is, when you've had one of those bad days, is go, right, tomorrow's a new day. We're going to go for it. Rather than starting Monday, or starting next month, or starting in the next challenge, or starting in the next opportunity you get for another holiday, just keep going. You're going to have days. Things are going to pop up. That's life. We have to keep living, but we have to still find ways to prioritize our health as much as we can every day. And if you have a bad day and you can't prioritize it, you've got tomorrow, or you've got your next meal, or you've got the evening, or when you get home, you can have a nice healthy meal because the day was just impossible. It's just about making it work for you. Now, the key elements that I wanted everyone to really focus on, and that was drinking more water, prioritizing getting up early, prioritizing strength training, prioritizing protein, all those things that we were focusing on. If you don't manage to do 3 of them, at least do 1. You're still contributing towards your health and fitness goals. Do you know what I mean? If you can't do any of them, there should be at least 1 that you can do. Water, for example. If you can't go to the gym, if there's not much healthy food around, or the protein sources in the food that works provided for you aren't that great, then you can prioritize water. You know what I mean? So it's just about trying to do something every single day, rather than overwhelming yourself with not being able to do anything. And then that way you're going to stay on track, and you're going to keep working on your health and fitness, and you're going to be like those 70-year-olds who are traveling together, walking every day together, and doing 50-kilo deadlifts together. That's what I want to be doing at 70. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely do. I'm just going to quickly check the inbox one more time, see if anything's come through before we finish up here. Maybe Fran has had some internet issues because poor thing. I'll have to catch up with her later then. Just refresh the box.
Can I just ask a quick question while
Yeah,
you're
of course you can.
with how you make the shredded chicken?
Yes.
How long would you keep that in the fridge for? Like, how many days?
Yes, no, good question. So you can leave it in the fridge as long as it's covered and it's in a sealed container. So if you cooked it on Sunday, the last day you'd be able to use it would be Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just like, I don't really know how long I can eat it for.
Yeah, no, you
Cool.
just like with food, like for example, with chicken, you'd cook it, you make sure it's cooled right down to a certain temperature, and then you put it in the fridge. And then you can use it up till, I will definitely go right up until Wednesday. And then if there's anything left, I just throw it out or give it to the dog for Wednesday night. But yeah, no, definitely no more than that would be my
perfect
amount. Do you have an air fryer?
Yeah, I do.
It's the easiest way to cook when you've got like this. For today, for example, I put my chicken breast in the air fryer, managed to do a whole lot of washing, came back, that was done, put the next lot on, did some other stuff. It just,
because you can walk away from it, eh?
Yes, it's easy. I mean, you can do it in the oven, but with the air fryer, at least it turns off. So if you forget about it, because most busy women do, at least it turns off. Perfect. Air fryers are a lifesaver, like biggest time hack ever. And you can get one as cheap as $60 from Kmart, and they work.
We use ours every day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the best hacks for staying on track with nutrition and needing to cook food and yummy food too. Is just an air fryer. Invest
because you do get that that crispy fried food without actually frying it.
without having it soaked in canola oils and then having all
Yeah.
the nutrients stripped from it. So yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
They're a great hack for anyone who's struggling with nutrition or struggling with meal prep. Go invest in a $60 air fryer from Kmart. It'll be your new best friend.
And thank us later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That would be my absolute number one tip. If there's one thing anyone can invest in right now, go get an air fryer. They're amazing. Well, it looks like I've got no more questions coming in. It's more just like personal things from people. So do either of you want anything else you want to ask or say before we wrap up for this evening?
No, I don't think so. I think I don't know, this couple of weeks has been awesome. I think I don't know, these video sessions will be great too. I didn't make it onto the first one, but I watched it back, and
Yeah,
there was, you learn lots from, questions that you might not have even had that other people have answered. So yeah,
absolutely.
it's been really great.
And this is how I love to do my group coaching sessions online is open the floor to questions, because sometimes we can be quite intimidated to ask a question. It's not until someone else has asked the same thing you've been thinking, and then your question gets answered too. So there's so much we can learn just from having conversations about things that we need help with, things that we're struggling with, or things that are actually really working for us and that are working in our lives and that we love, because we can learn so much from one another, which is so important. And that's why having a community when you're on a journey like this is so important, especially if you're struggling at home with a supportive environment or a supportive community. Knowing you've got your online community to help keep you on track is honestly just one of the best things. And I have seen some incredible transformations happen from people just having that support space that they need, that isn't quite where they need it every day in their life, but it's there online when they need it. We're pretty blessed and privileged to have these things like the internet to be able to do that. I know the internet isn't always positive, but there are so many positives, like something like this, that we can get from having it, which I really, really love. For example, my business coach that I work with, I have a mentor, and it's all online and we connect, and it's just fantastic to have a group of health professionals that will come together and collaborate, talk about things that are happening in the industry, or talk about new research, talk about things, and we can just all collaborate and help one another understand things. And then we do the same for our people in our community, and it just means we're all helping one another, which I love. I love, love, love. So I think we're pretty lucky to have these opportunities. Makes me feel very grateful. Well, we will wrap up there tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in live, Alyssa and Alexandra. And unfortunately, sorry, Fran, that you weren't able to ask your questions, and I never got any messages. So maybe you've had some internet issues, which I'm really sorry about. But if you have any questions for me, send me a message, and that goes to anyone. Send me a message if you have any questions. If you have any questions about further coaching with me as well, feel free to flick me a message or even just book a call with me and we can have a chat further. But I hope everyone has managed to take some value away from this 2-week challenge. My goal is for all of you to continue on doing all these amazing things that you're doing for yourself, and just keep going with it. Stay in momentum. Don't use these 2 weeks as a little challenge and then stop. Keep going. The most important thing you can do is keep going. That's my one wish for everyone. So I hope everyone has a great start to your week. Go get your Monday, keep your protein high, and smash out some epic workouts, especially if you've got the energy to, because you've been focusing on your nutrition for the last 2 weeks. I will see everyone at some point, whether that be online or in person or around. But if you ever need me, I'm always just an email or a message away. DMs are a little bit slower. I am always you're better to email me or send me a text message if you're New Zealand based, and then you'll get a better response. The DMs get flooded with all sorts of random crap. So sometimes I miss messages, especially sugar daddies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, have a wonderful evening, and I shall hear from all of you soon, hopefully. Take care.
Well, thank you, Renee.
Thank
No worries.
you.
See you later. Bye.
See ya.